You're welcome to the Economy and Politics Conversation. I'm Ottoabasi Abasiekong. This edition will discuss Nigeria's foreign exchange market in 2024, reforms, stability, and long-term impacts. Joining me virtually for this conversation is Mr. Yinka Ogunnubi, President of the Association of Corporate Treasurers in Nigeria. It's nice to have you on the program, Mr. Yinka.
Thank you for having me, my brother. Good to be back here.
Thank you very much. Of course, the foreign exchange market remains the focus and has been always on the conversation. So let's begin by asking your perspective on the current perceived appreciation of the Naira. We saw that happen through last week from 1,700 Naira to the range of 1,500 Naira. We're also seeing some movements again, but I just want to ask, with what we're seeing, is this sustainable and what are the drivers?
Okay, let me take the second part of your question first. What are the drivers? I think, given what the CBN has done over the last couple of months, we will say that the immediate driver for this current appreciation has to be the introduction of the electronic foreign exchange matching system. That is what has happened within the last 2 weeks. That has really shifted the market, and that system, which is based on the Bloomberg B matching system, which essentially allows for a lot of visibility in the market and efficiency of the foreign exchange market system by creating a platform where banks can place order anonymously in a central order book and then have that matched automatically. I think that has significantly brought a lot of transparency to the system and has helped to enhance the price discovery that we're seeing. On the question of whether it is sustainable, that is a bit more difficult to answer because you and I know that there are fundamentals that must be done. One of these fundamentals is that the current liquidity in the market has to be sustained. We must ensure that foreign FX flows are not disrupted. Production, oil production is enhanced. Diaspora inflows remain the same. FDIs, on the current trajectory, and all that. So that is very key, in the whole process. And then also the CBN must continue in its current monetary policy path. I can tell you that one of the reasons, even though that might not be the immediate reason, is also because the CBN has squeezed liquidity out of the market, significant liquidity out of the market. And you could explain that because M2 has grown in terms of money supply, has grown significantly over the last 10 years. So they have a point, but they have to maintain that, and then also you cannot rule out global what is happening in the global economy. Trump takes office in a month, and you don't know what's going to happen. So in terms of sustainability, it's not just a straight answer. It's a lot of nuanced answers based on so many things that you have to do. But the fundamental for us, for Nigeria, is that we have to keep on increasing production. We have to keep on, in one way or the other, boosting exports so that we can get export earnings. And we have to also make sure that on the infrastructural side of it, we're investing in the economy. So we put all that together, we can say it is sustainable. But you and I know that that's a long shot.
Well, very, very nice perspective you've highlighted. I mean, we need to do a lot to attract inflows, boost our reserves, like you rightly said, this time. But in your capacity, and of course, you relate with all your fellow corporate treasurers, various investors and stakeholders, how do you describe the role of these electronic FX matching systems in the market and economy currently? Is it reflecting the thoughts of the central bank governor? He spoke at the 59th annual bankers dinner hosted by the Charity of Bankers of Nigeria, where he said that the FM will further enhance transparency, restore confidence in the market, and attract new investments. So You've talked about transparency. Is it restoring confidence in the market so far? Is it attracting those new investments? Is it showing that prospect?
Well, in terms of attracting new investment, that's yet to be said. But in terms of confidence in the market, very, very, very sure. It is attracting a lot of confidence in the market. One of the things that the electronic foreign exchange matching system has done is that it has removed this line that the bank used to say there's no supply. We've done almost 2 weeks of it now, and so we'll see what this week does. But last week, one of the things that came out of the first week of it is that supply outmatched demand in multiples. In multiples. In one day, supply outmatched demand almost 25 times. So the question was, there was a day that corporate treasurers started calling themselves and say, hey, Alpha, put in your demand, because there was no demand in the market. And so, simple economics. Once demand is high, supply is low, price goes up. Once supply is high, demand is low, price goes down. And that's the way you expect it to work. But it has never worked like that in the market. And we, on the corporate treasurer side, we've always been saying that there is no real demand that is driving the price up. We've always been saying it because from the perspective of the ACTN, for instance, we pride ourselves that our members probably represent almost 80% of FX volumes in Nigeria. And so when we do a spot check on a typical day to say, okay, look, flour mills, what's your demand? MTN, what's your demand? Lafarge, Dangote, what's your demand? By the time we put all that together, and then we look at it and say, there's no way this demand is the one driving this price up. So we know that demand is not there. So essentially what is happening is that you have market players who are basically, I don't want to use the word manipulating because that's suggestive, but they're basically keeping the price at a particular level. And so we've seen that, and we have always said, look, what you need to do is create a system where everybody is matched to the same platform. All right? The same platform. It's not this closed system that you have where each dealing room is operating as a silo and you only have to report at the end of the day. No. Create a system where everybody sees what everybody is doing. And that's what the EFEMS has done. It has created that platform where there's visibility, there's transparency, everybody sees what everybody's doing. Although it's anonymous, we know it's an anonymous system, but the matching is automatic.
Very, very important at this time. But we will be tracking that, like you rightly said. Now, again, from your position, your colleagues and stakeholders, what adjustments and positions should investors and businesses take regarding the whole foreign exchange regime for their portfolios during this period? And, the CBN governor is also saying that by the FM, we'll now begin to know the true value of the Naira, the real value of the Naira. You want to take positions and all that. How is it going? How are you going to go forward with this?
Well, for investors, they know their job. I'm not sure I'm the right person to advise them because I'm on the demand side of the foreign exchange market. But, what I would tell people is beyond doing the basics. The basics is, hedge, have your hedging strategies in place, diversify your asset class, investment, your different asset class. These are the fundamentals. But I would say monitor what is going on. All right, monitor it. I've seen people throw around the 1,400 figure a lot these days, and it is directly linked to the budget, whatever.
Estimates.
Yes. So, but what I would say is be very careful. What you do. So, because when you want to be able to take a position, you want to measure volatility, and I tell people that volatility runs both ways. whether it is appreciating or depreciating, it's still volatile. So a case where the last 1 week the naira has appreciated about 6 to 7%, it's it's a volatile situation. Now you're having customers coming to businesses to say you have to adjust your price because of 1 week of data of movement, right? And it's not sustainable because you want to be able to see that the foreign exchange is maintained over a long period of time. I mean, for us, 3 months to 6 months is the appropriate period. Okay, we can manage 1 month, but 2 weeks of data, and then customers are already coming to you to say, "Hey, you have to change your price." Is not sufficient. So, my advice to businesses in particular is don't be in a hurry to just adjust. Competition might be doing stuff, but don't be in a hurry to adjust. We've seen just yesterday that the rate is going up in the parallel market again. So it's a very, very, very unstable situation. And my best advice is monitor the FX market development, stay updated, be ready to react at the slightest opportunity, but don't get too carried away by what is going on in the short term.
Yeah. I remember we had this conversation previously, several months ago, and you kept saying this, that don't get carried away. It's very important. Just keep your eye on it, on the market. But from your perspective, what are the implications of all these developments for our foreign reserves? It's reached around $40 billion, and such measures like this could really help boost the foreign reserves, give us that buffer to go on. And then on the other hand, will this impact inflation in 2025? I know 4 or 5 economists who have engaged have said what we're going through in inflation at over 30% now is tied to the challenge of the foreign exchange volatility. Are we seeing any lights at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, a strong naira will definitely positively impact the foreign exchange. It will help to at least reduce our debt servicing cost. It will help to reduce the cost of import. So it has a net positive really for our foreign reserve, and I think that anybody who is looking at us will see that almost immediately. It's on the inflationary side. It's also a positive as well, because a lot of we talk about imported inflation, and a lot of it is down to the cost of import. I sell cars for a living, for instance, and you don't want to know the price of a new Land Cruiser. You know, it's almost like the price of building an entire estate. But you and then the reason is it's driven by the exchange rate, and so obviously this will help to reduce the pressure on the foreign reserves, but also to be able to reduce the inflationary impact. Reduce a bit, not a lot, because I believe that a significant part of our inflationary challenge is driven by food inflation. A significant part of our inflation is driven by imported inflation, and so obviously any appreciation of the naira is going to have that positive impact. However, it's not going to be immediate, because you find out that businesses are still looking at what is going on and saying, okay, I'm not going to adjust my pricing yet. I want to see if it's sustainable. So we go back to that sustainable conversation from the beginning to say we want to see this appreciation stay in a way. And I must tell you, many people might not like what I'm about to say, but in reality, the naira has appreciated too fast. And that appreciation has got a lot of people concerned, because what you want to see is you want it to appreciate gradually over a period of time. But 6-7% appreciation in a week is not exactly, it doesn't give you confidence. So you want to be able to watch over a period of time to see if this stays over time. But generally speaking, an appreciation of the naira has positive impact on foreign reserves and inflation and safety.
Very clear. Let's look at the outlook for the foreign exchange market in 2025. What are you saying? Because, of course, this year, your colleagues in the manufacturing sector have really gone through a lot of pressure. There's been so much challenges. And with this FM, we're expecting transparency now. We're expecting to see more investments. We're going to see more innovation and quality in terms of activities in the markets. So what is the outlook? What is the horizon for 2025? And also, in addition, you mentioned it, this proposed budget assumption of 1,400 Naira to $1. Is that feasible? Is that realistic?
Is it achievable? Yes. But it is debatable. And yes, it's achievable if we go back to the issue of this sustainability conversation when we look at, okay, if we're able to maintain oil production at levels, the oil prices stay at a certain level, subsidies out of the question, we're looking at the refineries are coming back, so all these things are adding up to the positive side of the conversation. And if we can maintain and sustain that, then we can see the gradual appreciation of the Naira to that 1,400 mark, and then we see, okay, it's achievable. However, there's a big X in terms of the X factor that you don't know. And those X factors are things that are out of our control. For instance, I said again, Donald Trump takes office next month. Now, this is a man that has said he's going to, his own trade policy is tariffs.
Tariffs, yeah.
He's going to tariff everything. All right. Now, it sounds like a good political statement, but when it actually is implemented, it has global impact on supply chain. All right. And so we have to look at that. Also, we know it stands in terms of global conflict. What's happening in Ukraine, what's happening in Gaza, and co. And so the question is, what's going to happen? So it's a big X factor for us. We don't know. So, so as much as we try to make sure that we do our own bit, the fact that we don't know these things has significant impact on these budget assumptions. And that's the reason why, in as much as we want to be positive, when you're running business, you cannot do it on emotions. You have to look at raw data. And right now, there's a big X on that raw data. Are the Fed going to increase rates, or are they going to keep dropping rates? We don't know. So a lot of that unknown factor makes us to get in the sit-down look category. So what is our outlook? I mean, our outlook is that we think that MPR will stay at the level that it is. We think that the CBN will keep either squeezing liquidity, but there will be no significant reduction in where MPR is, where CR is, the asymmetric corridor is. We don't think there's going to be any change in the first half of next year. We think that for the second half of next year, we will begin to see some of those things relaxed, because then we'll have significant data regarding not just the fundamentals within our economy, but also outside of the economy to know exactly where we are going. So that's my take. I'm not saying the government will not achieve its 1,400 mark. I think they can. I think it's achievable, but there's a whole lot of indices also that might not necessarily favor them. So, but we need to just keep track of all those things.
Yes, we need to really keep track of all those things, and of course, that's what we do in ProShare. We keep track of all these developments as they come. But thank you very much, Mr. Yinka Ogunnubi, President, Association of Corporate Treasurers in Nigeria. Really very interesting conversation on the foreign exchange market, and we'll be keeping track of all that. Thank you very much, Mr. Yinka Ogunnubi, President, Association of Corporate Treasurers in Nigeria, for this very interesting conversation on the foreign exchange market. We want to see the impact, the long-term impact, and of course, the current developments and how it affects businesses and even down to households. Thank you once again. And we would have this conversation next year to see where we are. Yes. Thank you once again for the time. And Merry Christmas in advance.
Yeah.
Thank you. To our viewers, if you want to get further insights on this conversation, visit the ProShare website displayed on the screen and follow our social media platforms to engage further on this program. I just want to let you know that when it comes to the foreign exchange market, we got you covered when you visit our website on all the latest data on our foreign exchange markets, the Naira performance to the US dollar, British pound, and of course, the other major currencies captured. Until we come your way again, enrich yourself with knowledge of socioeconomic developments around you. It is wise. I'm Ottoabasi Abasiekong. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.